What's up, everyone? Doyler here, and before I get started, I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy whatever if you celebrate. If you don't, just wanted to give you all a shout out and honestly just say it's been a great almost half year with you guys and really growing the channel and community. That said, it's finally time for my Morax hero analysis, just in time before 4Cs comes out, so let's jump right in. So, gonna start off with his stats and then cover his skills and then sort of where I think I see him in the meta and going forward. So, stat-wise, class-wise, and really everything-wise, I think the best hero to compare him to is Garuda. So he's got a bit more hit points than Garuda, coming in just under 661,000 compared to Garuda's 607,000 hit points. Attack-wise, he's at 25,178, which is just a hair over Garuda's. And speed-wise, he's at 1,172 speed, which puts him exactly the same speed tier as Garuda, and slower than your carries, and so on. He's also got some built-in crit and precision, which is nice. Nothing else really to write home about. So, first up, his passive skill. As Morax loses hit points, his all damage dealt and all damage reduction increase up to a 120% bonus to damage dealt and 40% to damage reduction. This is a sliding scale that I would love to get more stats on. I don't know if anyone has done the data mining or really just done a lot of testing with this. That said, the biggest caveats for this skill are going to be you want Morax to be faster than your healers so that he does a bit more damage before they heal him up. The biggest example of that is going to be my Morax Seal Land Clear. Mine was actually slower than Ignis, so I was losing out on a little bit of this damage. A nice passive skill. Yeah, nothing to really write home about, but if he is low, that increased damage reduction is going to keep him alive a bit longer. Next up, we have his passive skill. Each basic attack grants 2 layers of extra ammo, which is his special skill effect, and has a 100% chance to remove 1 debuff from Morax. And this includes all types of debuff, not just control effects. So dots, stat reductions, and marks. This would honestly have been an incredible skill a while ago, especially with his ability to remove marks. That said, it's fairly well balanced, nothing really overpowering, but it is nice to be able to purify something off and then possibly get it off with a basic. It's basically a 2-for-1 during a team, which is pretty nice. Next up is his stat passive skill, so plus 40% hit points, plus 30% attack, 30 crit, 70 precision, and plus 40% effect of being healed, which is really awesome. So pretty normal passive skill with some great stat boosts, but the effect of being healed is nice because as a damage dealer, Morax has no sustain of his own, so this does increase any of the healing that you'll be giving him, which if you do run Morax anywhere, you are going to want to really pair him with the healer, as based on the fact that he has no sustain of his own and he comes with this. Last up, we have his active skill, which deals 600% of attack to 1 random backline enemy and burns them, which does another 600% attack damage per round for 2 rounds. And then for the next 2 rounds, the affected enemy takes 30% more damage from burns. So if you want to make a burn meme team, Morax is going to be perfect on them. After that, it will consume all of his extra ammo stacks, and for each layer of extra ammo that he had, he will launch the same attack against 1 more random backline enemy. And also, when the battle begins, Morax gains 2 layers of extra ammo. So this means that if, for example, if you had an energy artifact on Morax, he would come into battle with 2 stacks of extra ammo from this effect, and then he would immediately fire off a round 1 active, which would target 1 plus 2 enemies in the backline for a total of 3, doing this 600% of attack, then consuming all of his extra ammo. So it's pretty strong and does a fair bit of damage, up to 1800% on the first round. It'll obviously depend on extra ammo. Generally speaking, you'll have 2 stacks of extra ammo because you'll use your basic at 0, your basic at 50, and then your active at 100 energy. So generally speaking, 1800% of 25,000 base attack is a pretty solid active. It's definitely not a lot to scoff at. And also it's a really big dot coming in at 600% of his attack. That said, where this can really shine is if he does get drained by your carries and manages to build up a bunch of stacks of extra ammo, you could see some really huge actives come out of him, as there is no limit to how many backline heroes he can target with his Hellish Smash. That said, the counterpoint to that is Morax does rely very heavily on this active skill, as his basic doesn't do anything damage-wise, so any hero that relies this heavily on their active will suffer a bit in the carry meta. So carry hurts him, but if he gets off an active in the carry meta, it will be huge. I think overall he's a pretty well-balanced hero. Yeah, so time for my TLDR, I guess. I think Morax is a very well-balanced hero. I think he'll be great in the early to mid game, but he will fall off in the late game, and I don't see him being useful at all in the end game. So Trial of the Champions, IDA, Heavy Guild Wars, I don't see him being that useful there. His speed is a little too low to deal with stuff like Rogan teams, ticks, carry, and so on. And relying so heavy on his active means that carry is just going to be able to basically completely neuter him. Build-wise, you're looking at Splendid A and B for PvP, maybe a Crown if you want him tankier and you don't have enough A and Bs. For some modes, maybe even PvP, an upgraded Cog is nice, because again, he has no sustain of his own, so built-in armor break plus self-healing is a really nice artifact for a hero like this. Same reason it was great on Garuda. Like I said, I can't help but compare Morax to Garuda, as they fit such a similar niche. And obviously, if you're running him in PvE, you want to run an upgraded Antlers Cane. Speaking of PvE, his burn is pretty huge. He can fit in a Delacium army. He's not going to be as good as Athaqua, because she's just... her kit is so overpowered for the way that Flame Shrine and Broken Spaces work. That said, he is going to outdamage a Nakia, so Morax is probably your number 2 bet for a Delacium army if you don't want to build an Athaqua, or you already have a Morax, or something like that. He's also just fine as a solo damage dealer in a standard boost comp with, you know, Rogan, Drake. You don't need Deathsworn necessarily, since he has his own burn, Heart Watcher, and so on. As far as Aspen Dungeon is concerned, getting to Death 1 doesn't look too difficult, especially if you're other rate build. I don't think he's going to be that useful after Death 1. So he falls in the, you know, possible first E5 category. I don't think I'd rank him in my top 5 yet. I'd love to have an account that has Morax as their first E5 to do more testing, but we'll have to see. On that note, Sealand. Morax can clear Sealand 20 solo. My video I used in Ignis, but I'll include a link in the description to Sealand 20 clear with E5 solo Morax. That said, it looks like you are going to need to get him to V2 or V3. So by that point, you might just be able to maybe build out an Ignis or more Abyss support. That said, pretty comparable to an E5 Delacium clear in Sealand. So Morax over Delacium as a first E5 in Abyss is something worth comparing and considering. I don't really think he'll be that bad there. And in Void, I haven't tested him much, but nothing in his kit screams to me that he's worth replacing someone like Tix, someone like Rogan, someone like Inosuke, and so on. So, yeah, generally speaking, I'm happy with Morax. I think he's a well-balanced hero. I think unlike Flora, he doesn't need multiple copies. I think unlike Tix, you don't need to rush to build him. I think if you've got him, he's nice to have. If you don't want him, you can replace him in the upcoming Palace of the Eternity event for 4Cs. But yeah, that's my Morax summary. I know the TLDR went kind of long, but I'm going to include a bunch more links in the description to Barry and GDP's reviews, as well as my Sealand 20 clear and a Morax solo Sealand 20 Abyss clear. But that's going to be it for this one. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you appreciate my hero analysis videos and want to help me hit 2,500 by the end of the year. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.